Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a question that's generated more panic, more polarization in the last year than almost any other in digital business.
You mean the rise of generative AI and what it means for SEO?
Exactly. Every tech blog, every news headline seemed to scream, SEO is dead, the second ChatGPT arrived.
And that narrative's only gotten louder with Google integrating AI overviews directly into search results.
Right. It's everywhere.
The media frenzy is, well, it's understandable, but the reality is always a bit more complex than the hype suggests, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
These AI search tools, whether we're talking Google's AI mode, Microsoft's Copilot, or, conversational assistants like Perplexity and Gemini, they're fundamentally shifting user expectations.
That's so.
They offer a more conversational, synthesized experience for finding information, often providing instant clarity and context.
Without needing that click to a third-party website.
Exactly, and that's the core issue for many businesses.
That instant answer is the crux of the terror, isn't it? It feels like the rug is being pulled out from under anyone whose business model relies on that organic traffic.
It can certainly feel that way.
So our mission for you, the listener, is to really distinguish between the apocalyptic rhetoric and the actual operational changes needed.
Is this truly a complete replacement, or is it just the latest, maybe most intense evolution of search marketing?
That's the question. We need to unpack the underlying mechanics of AI search and figure out, exactly how much of this new advice is just old best practice in a high-tech disguise.
Sounds like a plan. Where should we start?
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with why the tools and tactics we rely on right now might be technically insufficient for this AI-driven web.
Okay, well, what's fascinating here is the fundamental technical disconnect between classic search and generative search. It's a real shift.
A disconnect? How?
We're moving away from classic information retrieval, or IR, where content goes in, gets indexed, and comes out in a ranked list pretty much as it was written.
Standard Google search basis.
Okay, now we're in the age of generative IR. Here, content is actively manipulated, it's synthesized, and reasoned over by the AI.
So it's not just spitting back what it found.
Not at all. Your visibility is no longer guaranteed just because your page won the traditional ranking spot.
Right.
The machine isn't just ranking a page, it's selecting a passage based on its utility to construct a novel answer.
Okay, that's a big difference. And our sources highlight three core mechanisms driving this insufficiency. The first one, maybe the most crucial, is query fanout.
Ah, yes. Query fanout.
Can you walk us through what that actually looks like behind the scenes? Say, when a user types a simple search.
Sure. Think of it like a search query kind of exploding. If you, the user, type something simple like best dog food,
Okay.
the AI system doesn't just search for that literal phrase. It silently generates dozens, maybe even hundreds, of related, implied, and personalized synthetic queries, all in parallel.
Synthetic queries, like
Yeah.
what?
Well, it might be asking, compare high-protein kibble versus wet food for a large breed. Or maybe, what are the common side effects of grain-free diets? Things the user didn't explicitly ask, but are related.
Wow, okay. So visibility isn't just about matching the user's exact query anymore.
Not primarily, no.
It's about aligning your content with these hidden, comparative, highly specific synthetic queries the system is quietly exploring.
That's it, which demands incredibly comprehensive, really well-structured content.
Right. And that leads into the second mechanism you mentioned.
Precisely. This capability is what necessitates the second mechanism, passage-level retrieval.
Passage level, so not the whole page.
Exactly. Since the AI is exploring these nuanced, comparative synthetic queries, it needs content at the passage level, or even the sentence level.
So it's grabbing smaller chunks.
Yes. The machine compares one chunk of your content, say a paragraph about protein content, directly against a competitor's corresponding paragraph. You don't win because your whole page is better overall. You win because your specific sentences are the most precise or authoritative contribution to that single step in the AI's reasoning process.
Okay, that's granular. Now here's where it gets, well, highly personalized and maybe a bit spooky. The third mechanism, user embeddings.
User embeddings. Very powerful.
Can you define what a user embedding actually is? Because the term dense vector is pure jargon for most of us.
Absolutely. Let's try to simplify it. Think of a user embedding as the AI's persistent, high-density memory file of you.
A memory file.
Yeah, it's a complex mathematical representation, that's the dense vector,
Yeah.
that captures your history, your prior queries, the documents you interact with across Google, like Gmail, Maps, whatever.
Oh, okay. So data from other Google products.
Potentially, yes.
Mm.
And your stated preferences, too. When you search, the AI system plugs this memory file into the query.
Making the results probabilistic.
And
Customized,
too.
totally customized. If you search for investment advice and the system knows you've recently read articles on ESG investing,
Your answer will likely be weighted towards that, and the citations, the sources it shows, might be completely different from what your neighbor sees asking the exact same question.
so the personalized ranking we sort of knew is now hyper-personalized retrieval,
That's a good way to put it.
which means, oh boy, traditional logged-out rank tracking suddenly becomes functionally obsolete for measuring true AI search performance.
It really does. For these AI overviews, at least.
Okay, connect these dots for us. These three mechanisms, fan-out, passage retrieval, user embeddings, how do they lead to the final answer the user sees?
Right. So AI mode uses what are called reasoning chains. Think of them as structured sequences of logical inferences the AI follows to build the final answer.
Like steps in an argument.
Exactly. For example, if the query is, should I buy a hybrid or electric SUV?
Yeah.
The reasoning chain might involve, say, 3 steps. Step 1, define fuel cost savings, citing source A.
Okay.
Step 2, compare maintenance requirements, citing source B. Step 3, assess battery range anxiety, citing source C.
And my content gets picked if it supports one of those specific steps.
Precisely. Your content is selected because it supports a specific logical step in the machine's thinking, not just because it happened to rank number 1 traditionally for hybrid versus electric.
Okay, that leads directly to what everyone really fears, zero-click behavior.
That's a big one.
If my content is cited, maybe even prominently, but the user gets the full answer right there in the AI overview. Well, my business, which depends on ads or affiliate links or lead gen traffic,
Is potentially in trouble, yes.
is there any scenario where just being cited is enough, even if the user doesn't click through?
It depends on the business model. For certain models, yes. If you're a high-authority publication, maybe a research institution,
Yeah.
being cited repeatedly increases your brand trust and visibility. That's a win for what we call entity authority. It reinforces your credibility.
Ah.
But if you're a transactional site or you rely heavily on, say, low-intent comparison traffic to drive affiliate sales,
Yeah.
the drop in clicks due to this synthesis could be existential. It really could.
So the goal shifts. It's not just about earning a click anymore.
Right. It shifts towards becoming the trusted knowledge source that the generative agent relies on. It's a shift from optimizing purely for traffic volume to optimizing for brand representation within the AI's actual answer.
That sets a terrifying precedent for many. But let's pause here. Take a breath. Let's counter the SEO is dead narrative now.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Because it's not quite dead, is it?
No. If we look closely at the new optimization advice swirling around, we realize the profession has been incredibly adaptive. And many of these so-called generative engine optimization tactics are recycled strategies, right?
They absolutely are, or at least evolutions of them.
Yeah.
SEOs have consistently responded to every platform change Google has thrown at them.
Okay, let's take conversational search. This obsession now over optimizing for long-tail natural language queries to align with that query fan-out thing.
Where did that come from? Is it really new?
Well, no, we were doing that core work way back around 2015, weren't we, when voice search became a priority?
Exactly. Siri, Alexa,
Okay.
Google Assistant.
Yeah, tools like Answer the Public existed precisely to uncover those question-based queries, those how-to, what is, compare type searches.
Exactly. But the evolution is key here. Back in the voice era, we optimized mostly for getting that single direct answer featured.
Like in a featured snippet.
Right. Now we're optimizing for contribution to a reasoning chain. It's not just about answering one question directly. It's about providing the most precise piece of evidence for a machine's logical process.
So the tactic is old, but the required precision
Is far higher, yes.
Okay, what about digital PR and authority? Now, the buzzwords are brand mentions and entity authority, the idea that LLMs prioritize info from credible, well-referenced sources.
Credibility matters more than ever.
But isn't that just a fancy new way of talking about link building and page rank, off-page SEO?
It's definitely the spiritual successor, yes.
Yeah.
But it is technologically different under the hood.
How so?
PageRank was primarily an algorithmic measurement based on the sheer quantity and quality of hyperlinks pointing to a page.
Right, the link graph.
Entity authority in this AI age is, well, it's fuzzier. It's much more about textual co-occurrence, knowledge graph alignment,
Green.
meaning how often is your brand mentioned alongside relevant concepts across the entire web? What's the sentiment? It's also about the volume of positive mentions, even if they aren't hyperlinked.
So unlinked mentions count now.
They seem to, yes. The LLM effectively scrapes the text surrounding your brand name everywhere and evaluates the sentiment and the veracity of associated claims.
So if major academic sites or top industry sources consistently mention your brand as a leader,
The LLM develops a strong, persistent vector embedding that mathematical representation again of your entity. And it basically learns this brand authority on this topic.
making it more likely to be cited in AI answers.
Exactly, which is why off-page SEO, digital PR, brand building, they've never been more fundamental, even if the mechanism has evolved beyond just links.
Okay, and then there's the simplest point, just basic content optimization.
The bread and butter.
Every single presentation about AI search optimization tells you, write clearly, answer questions directly, use FAQs, structure your headings properly, use lists.
I mean, that is literally the same on-page SEO advice that people like us have been giving for decades, right?
Absolutely. Since optimizing for featured snippets and people's use, also ask boxes at least.
It is the same advice, fundamentally, because good content is good content. Well-structured, clear information is good for users and machines.
So it's different now.
The stakes, I think.
Yeah.
Content that excelled in, say, a featured snippet might win the AI overview slot, but it's definitely no guarantee.
Why not?
Because now it has to be optimized specifically for extraction and synthesis by the AI, not just for ranking well traditionally or being snippet-friendly. It needs to fit into that reasoning chain we talked about.
Got it. You even mentioned multimodal search being core to LLMs, processing images, videos, audio.
Right, the AI doesn't just read text.
But that's not really new either, is it? SEOs have been optimizing images for Google Lens and image search for ages, adding video transcripts, ensuring visibility on YouTube.
Correct. That's all been happening for years. The difference now is the machine's ability to reason across those different modalities simultaneously.
Okay, so it's not just seeing the alt text.
No. An LLM isn't just seeing the alt text on an image. It might be reading the video transcription on the same page, seeing the image's metadata, and synthesizing all three pieces of data to construct a single, coherent answer about a product or concept.
So multimodal optimization isn't siloed anymore. It has to be viewed as one connected knowledge asset for the AI.
Exactly. Everything contributes to the AI's understanding.
Okay, this brings us to a crucial reality check, though. We're talking about these massive technological shifts. Yet, sources are showing AI search is currently driving, what, less than 1% of traffic to most websites? That figure gets thrown around a lot.
It does. The impact on raw clicks is still small for most right now.
And furthermore, Google's overall traditional search volume actually grew in 2024. So if the traditional clicks are still flowing, why all the panic? Why should organizations invest heavily in what looks like fringe optimization right now?
That is a really critical question. And there are a couple of key reasons not to ignore this.
Okay.
The first reason is that AI search tools, particularly Google's, often use a process called Retrieval Augmented Generation, RG for short.
RG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. What's that?
It basically means the AI isn't just generating answers from its internal training data. It's actively retrieving fresh information from Google's traditional web index first, and then using that retrieved data to generate the final answer. It relies heavily on traditional search signals and Google's established index.
So, wait, if you neglect your core search quality, your traditional SEO,
your visibility could decline across all search features, including the AI overviews that rely on that index via RG.
So you can't really win in AEO, in answer engine optimization, if you haven't already won in traditional SEO.
That seems to be the case, yes. The foundation matters. You need discoverable, high-quality content in the main index for the AI to even find and consider you.
Okay, so that 1% traffic figure is deceptive, because the AI is learning from and citing the successful core SEO players anyway.
It seems that way. Neglecting traditional SEO is
Yeah.
it's like neglecting the foundation of your future AI visibility strategy. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Right. And this leads us nicely into the next part, the new mandate. If the fundamentals provide the base, What's the integrated skill set required to actually lead this evolution?
And the sources point to a new integrated function. They're calling it relevance engineering.
Relevance engineering.
Or sometimes you hear GEO, generative engine optimization, or AEO, answer engine optimization. Different names, similar concept.
Okay, relevance engineering sounds potentially like another piece of job title jargon. Why can't a traditional SEO just, learn some Python and data science? What makes this integrated function different?
It's about being systematic and proactive, I think. Traditional SEO is often reactive, right? Monitoring traffic drops, spotting keyword gaps, fixing technical debt after the fact.
Yeah, fair point.
Relevance engineering needs to be proactive. It's the integrated function combining deep SEO insight with natural language processing knowledge, data science skills, and content strategy.
All together.
Yes, specifically designed to systematically engineer relevance across these complex vector spaces we talked about. It means restructuring content not just for human reading or old-school algorithmic ranking, but for machine cognition, for how the AI thinks.
Okay, that sounds like it demands a totally new kind of content architecture.
It does.
We need content engineered at that passage level, like you said, to win the comparison battle during the AI's reasoning chain. So let's detail these 4 pillars of LLM preferred content that pretty much every deep dive source insists upon. What's pillar number 1?
Okay, pillar 1 is that content must fit the reasoning target.
Fit the reasoning target, meaning?
It means you must explicitly articulate comparisons, pros, cons, trade-offs, the things an AI needs to make a judgment.
So if the user query is comparative, like X versus Y,
your content needs clear sections that allow the LLM to easily evaluate that information during its internal comparison process against competitor content. Make it easy for the machine to see the comparison.
Got it. So instead of just listing features, you might say, this feature excels over the competition because of X, Y, and Z. You're giving the LLM the logical hook it needs.
Exactly right. Pillar 2.
Pillar 2.
It must be fan-out compatible. Remember query fan-out?
Yeah, the hidden synthetic queries.
Right. So since the system is generating dozens of those, your content needs to be entity-rich, mentioning relevant people, places, concepts, and reflect common user intents, especially evaluation and comparison.
And using structured data helps here, I assume. Schema markup.
Absolutely. Structured data, clear labeling anything that helps the machine easily connect your content to those hidden, implied queries.
Makes sense. Pillar number 3.
Pillar 3. Content must be citation-worthy.
Citation-worthy, as in provable.
Exactly. You have to present factual, attributable, verifiable data. LLMs are being trained, hopefully, to prioritize facts that come with an original source or strong evidence.
So use specific statistics, cite reports, link to sources.
Yes. Use specific numbers, cite industry reports, reference your own proprietary data if you have it. If you make a claim, the LLM needs to be able to rapidly confirm its origin, or at least see that it's well supported. Trust signals.
Okay. And the 4th pillar.
Finally, pillar 4.
Yeah.
It has to be composition-friendly.
Composition-friendly, like easy to assemble?
Kinda, yeah. Content needs to be scannable, modular, easy for the LLM to extract and synthesize into its own answer.
Which means favoring.
What?
Bullet points, lists?
Definitely. Bullet points, numbered lists, short paragraphs, maybe answer first phrasing where you put the conclusion right at the beginning of a section.
You need to provide the pre-cut pieces because the LLM is essentially a content assembler.
That's a great analogy, yes.
Yeah.
Make it easy for the machine to grab the right Lego brick.
Okay, those 4 pillars make sense. But beyond the content itself, we hit this technical foundation you mentioned earlier, vector index hygiene.
Yes, hygiene. Crucial.
That sounds like a potentially huge technical lift. For, say, a typical small business or a modest e-commerce site, is achieving good vector index hygiene realistically feasible right now? Or is this only for big enterprise sites with dedicated AI engineering teams?
It is achievable, I think, but it requires discipline and maybe a shift in how content is managed.
Okay. So what is it exactly, vector index hygiene?
It's the process of structuring, preparing, and maintaining your content so it remains clean, deduplicated, and easily retrievable in that vector space representation the AI uses.
And why does that matter so much?
Because when the machine reads your page content to create that vector embedding that mathematical fingerprint, it's reading everything in the code it can access.
Ah, and that's where the noise comes in, right?
Correct. Noise. Things like repeated boilerplate text in headers or footers, duplicate introductions across multiple pages, fixed navigational sidebars, maybe intrusive pop-ups or recurring marketing calls to action.
Stuff that's on every page but isn't the core content.
Exactly. That noise can pollute the actual content chunks. This leads to muddy, generic, and weak vector embeddings for those chunks.
Which means they get ignored during retrieval by the AI.
Right. They don't stand out as being specifically about the core topic.
Mm-hmm.
So relevance engineering means you have to find ways to strip out or minimize that noise before the content is embedded and presented to the LLM for reasoning.
It's like a fundamental content cleanup focused on what the machine sees.
Yes. And it can pay massive dividends in retrieval quality and therefore your chances of being cited.
Okay. Finally, we absolutely have to talk about measurement. If user embeddings and personalized results make traditional rank tracking obsolete for AI overviews,
Which they largely do.
we need a new KPI. We need a new way to track success in this AI-driven world. How do we do that?
This is why the rise of answer engine optimization, AEO, as a dedicated service or function is becoming so vital.
AEO.
Yes, traditional rank tracking for specific keyword positions is out, at least for AI overviews. Non-click metrics are in.
Like what? What should we be tracking?
We need to track things like share of voice, how often are we mentioned compared to competitors, sentiment is the mention positive, negative, neutral, and citation prominence, where in the answer are we cited? Is it supporting a key point?
And this needs to be tracked across different platforms.
Absolutely. Across Google's AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot, wherever your audience might be getting AI-generated answers. We need to know how often we are mentioned and in what context, rather than just focusing solely on how often we are clicked.
That's a major shift in focus for reporting.
Huge.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive. The debate isn't really about whether SEO is dead. It seems fundamentally alive, even providing the RJ foundation for AI answers.
Right. The foundation is still critical.
But the real question is whether organizations and the professionals within them are prepared to evolve into this relevance engineering role. And the point you made earlier is key. SEO professionals are actually uniquely skilled for this evolution. They've successfully navigated countless hype cycles and platform shifts before.
Absolutely. Google+, Panda, Penguin, mobile-first indexing, voice search, core web vitals. The list goes on. Adaptation is in the SEO DNA.
So the old game of optimizing just for explicit keywords on a page is changing, perhaps diminishing in some ways.
But the core competencies of building authority, ensuring technical soundness, creating high-quality, structured content, those endure. They're arguably more important than ever.
The new challenge, though, sounds systemic, organizational.
It really is. It requires an institutional shift, potentially, moving away from optimizing solely for traffic and clicks, which are becoming surface-level metrics in this context,
Right.
and shifting towards optimizing for brand representation and trust within the AI's actual knowledge layer, its understanding of the world.
It's about building a robust, easily retrievable knowledge asset that the machine can trust and use.
Precisely. It's a deeper, more foundational goal.
Which leads us to that final provocative thought for our listeners.
Yeah, something to chew on. If this user interaction model is truly changing, shifting from a traditional two-sided marketplace, user searches, clicks a link, goes directly to the website.
Okay.
If it's shifting towards more of an agentic web, where the AI acts as an intermediary, filtering and tailoring information based on its reasoning and its memory of the user.
Right, that personalized agent.
Then maybe. Should organizations stop optimizing primarily for surface-level ranking and clicks, instead pivot their entire content and knowledge management strategy?
Pivot towards what?
Towards the strategic, systematic inclusion of their specialized knowledge directly into the AI's fundamental understanding of the world, making sure the AI knows you are the authority.
So it's not just about ranking for a query anymore.
Maybe it's about being known by the intelligence itself, being part of its trusted knowledge base. That might be the long game here.